Okay, we are on our way to work this morning, and I thought I'd start maybe a series of stories and call them like car chronicles, because I've lived an interesting life. I mean, I'm not like, I don't think I need to have a movie after me at this point, but definitely have some interesting stories that date way back, like in my 20s. I'm currently in my late 40s, but like I said, grew up in the city, moved out to the suburbs in my 20s, but still go back home every week. Obviously, all my peoples are still living in the city, but like I said, I just have a bunch of stories that I find funny, and I kind of just want to make like a story journal on them. Maybe maybe I'll call it Car Chronicles. I'm not final on the story yet, but we'll see. So anyways, I am in a rental car. I'm not sure if you saw my previous post, but a deer hit me this weekend, and so my poor car, Shamu, is in the shop, still yet to be determined if it will get fixed or not. I'm kind of 50-50 on that, because I have been wanting a new car for over the last 6 months. I put that on hold because my daughter is going back to school, and financially I was gonna help her so she can not have so much student loans and whatnot. So I kind of put that on hold, and kind of told myself, okay, it'll take her 3 years to finish this next degree that she wants, and in those 3 years I'll save and also help her, and then after those 3 years I'll buy a new car for sure. So that was sort of like my long-term plan. And for me, I am a person that when I start planning, I'm not like a future faker. Like, I don't say shit just to say it. I really put things, when I say something, I really want it to come to fruition. And I can't stand people that do that, like, who that'll say shit knowing they have no real plans on accomplishing those things. But anyways, back to the story. So anyways, I hit the deer hit me Saturday. So my car, I feel like it could be fixable, but I'm not 100% sure. And I don't have a car payment on that. I have a 2021 Trailblazer, and I haven't had a car payment for like the last, I don't know, like 2 years, which is very nice. But obviously if I get a new car, I would probably end up getting a car payment or a low payment. But at least, I don't know. So I'm 50-50. I want a new car. I don't necessarily I didn't need a new car. I wanted one. So that was another thing. It was like a want. It wasn't a need. It wasn't like my car was breaking down or anything. It's, I had, everything on that car is what I wanted. I had a panoramic roof. I had heated seats. It was everything that it was sporty looking. There's not too many of those colored cars in Rochester, so I just loved that car. But I just wanted something new. Did I need it? No. That car was fully paid off, and it drove great, and it looked really nice. But the deer hit it, and we'll see what happens. I do have a couple of cars that I have in mind if I do have to replace it. So I'm kind of like 50-50. Like I said, 50-50. I really would like a new car. This time in my life right now, do I want one? No. But if I need one, I'll end up getting one. So, but anyways, back to the Car Chronicles. So I thought I was this story is kind of on my mind right now, just because I am planning on taking a little road trip this weekend, and going to see one of my favorite comedians. And I mentioned this car, back to the car. So I mentioned this car because this is I'm driving a Jeep Compass or something, which is nice. It doesn't really have a lot of bells and whistles in the inside. Like the seats, like you have to actually like pump the seat up, and you have to like scoop the seat up, where my car was all like, my car was like the top model. So I'm not really used to that, and my seating adjustment is not like where I want it. You know how you have, you know, I'm just not comfortable. I'm not comfy, but it is. This will probably be my ride for at least 2 weeks. So I gotta make the best of it. So back to the story. All right. So the reason why I'm telling this story is because I am going on a little road trip this weekend. Going to see one of my favorite comedians. I've seen him at least 3 times now. I've seen him in Ohio. I've seen him, I believe, in Buffalo. And I think he was in Syracuse. So he's hit all of the major cities near us. Hasn't come to Rochester yet. Coming to Albany this weekend, and of course I am going to see him. All right, so I'm going to McDonald's, so let's make a pit stop first. Order my food. Okay.
Take your pictures in McDonald's. Are you using the app?
No.
What can I get, please?
Can I get a hotcakes with sausage with an extra sausage and a large high C orange?
Anything else?
That's it.
Would you want to ride your photo around with McDonald's?
No, thank you.
You're all set to pull it up.
Thank you. Wow, I'm looking cute. No filter, guys. I mean, if every picture you post has a filter. Okay. Let me stop shading people. Let me stop the shade. Some people need filters, obviously. But some people don't. All right. Ooh, I don't. I hate that auto start feature. Oh, take that off of new cars, please. I do not want my new car to have that if I have to get a new car. Here you go. Thank you. You too. I need to start a change. Back in the day, rental cars used to have a little bit more something to them, but I mean, this one is not bad. I'm not a Jeep person, and I'm not really a Chevy person, but the Trailblazer really, the look of it is really what sold me, and it had everything I wanted on it when I purchased it back in 2021. It was everything to me, but the look was so like head turning to me. I literally saw the car at Wegmans one time, and it made me stop and look and turn and try to figure out what car that was, and I was like, that's gonna be my next car, and it was. So I'm gonna miss Shamu if I have to get a new one. Yep, thank you. And I call my car Shamu because it is a dark midnight blue, almost looks black, with a white top, so like a whale. So I always refer to it like a whale, and there's a famous whale called Shamu. And then my daughter ended up getting the same car. Hers was gray with the white top, so it was like a dolphin, which we called that one Flipper. So my car was Shamu, her car was Flipper, so we had the same car probably for like 2.5 years. Yeah, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25. So she got her car in 2022. So 22, no, I got mine in 2021. She got hers in 2022, 23, 24, 25. All right, thank you. So she got her car in 2022. So we had the same car up until 2025. She ended up getting a brand new Honda. Like I said, because she's going back to school, so she might be driving back and forth. So she got a hybrid Honda, and so now it's like I'm free. I can get another car if I want, I guess. So, because I was keeping that car because we did have the same car. Because I really did want a new car probably last year, and I was kind of just keeping that car because we had the same car. But she was free to. She had no problem getting a new car, and so we'll see what happens. Now, mind you, I don't mind keeping my car because at the end of the day, once my daughter graduates, I am going to get a new one. But in the meantime, we'll see what happens. I'm just blessed to be able to drive a car, a newer model car. Good morning. Thank you. Have a good day. Okay. Bye. All right. Got my food. And so, yeah, let's start this little story. All right. So back to what I was saying. Give me a second. This big ass car. I can't see. Okay. I gotta pay attention. Got a dirt bike. Have to focus. Okay. All right. So back to the story. So back to what I was saying. So my favorite comedian, he's coming to Albany. Now Albany is quite a drive. I was actually thinking of maybe even taking the train, but because I want to have a car, I'm just gonna end up driving. So I am driving to Albany this weekend just to make it a weekend. Now I'm single, so I do have a friend, but he's not able to go, and actually I didn't even ask him to go because he works at night, so I'm not gonna even tempt him to go because he works at night. So, and the comedian is performing at night, so I didn't want to make it like a choice to where he work. Well, he's gonna work. He's not gonna not work. And for me, I'm not driving. I don't want to drive 3 hours there and then 3 hours back home for him to go back to work. So I was just gonna go dolo, which I don't mind doing that either. But I have a friend from school that I know from college that lives in Albany, and this is where this story is going. And this is just a story about men in general. Not all men, I'm not saying all men, but just the men that I don't know why I keep coming in contact with men like this. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe. But so this guy that I know from college, we went to the same college. I went to SUNY Brockport back in '97. So he is actually from New York City, and I don't want to give too much information because if he happens to run across fuck it, I don't give a fuck. So anyways, we went to the same school back in '97. So I did not end up graduating from Brockport, but I ended up going to Brockport for about 2 years, so from '97 to '99, and he was there all 4 years. He actually graduated from Brockport. So we were there, for the 2 years. We were just friends. I mean, we're friends now. We're not anything but friends. So, but like I said, I had left school in '99, and so I hadn't really seen him since then. But we still maintain our friend group. I still have a friend group from school, and so we still maintain contact with each other. And he had his circle of friends, I had my circle of friends, and they, overlapped or whatever. So we still kind of kept in contact. And then when Facebook came around, right? Because Facebook wasn't really a thing when I went to college, but it ended up being, I think maybe it just was starting out. But we ended up reconnecting on Facebook, and becoming friends or whatever that was. So he's been like, you know, he would reach out to me and DM me or message me on Facebook like, hey, what you doing? And we kind of like caught up because I hadn't seen him in so long. That was like in 2019. And I'm trying to remember, I like looked at the messages today because I knew I was going to do this Car Chronicle story today. So back in like 2015 is when we started like connecting on Facebook through messaging. So he would, you know, we like caught up with each other like, okay, you know, how you doing, what you doing, what you been up to, where you work, how was this, how was that, where you live, where you at, you know, just shooting the shit, just getting to know each other again. Not in a romantic way, like I said, I have no interest, I don't even have interest in him today, just as friends. But you know, you could kind of tell when someone is interested in you, maybe, right? Usually stuff like that goes over my head, but you know, I could kind of tell. So so this whole how you doing HYD has been going on since like 2015. So he gave me his phone number, which I never, you know, I never took the conversation out of the chat, out of the Facebook chat. I always just left it there, even though he did give me his personal phone number, because I'm kind of leery about who I give my phone number to too. Because I don't want somebody messaging me when I don't want to be messaged, because I'm not changing my phone number just because you can't stop messaging me or calling me. And I don't want nobody calling me out the blue either. So I never gave him my phone number and I never used his phone number. I just felt like, you know, we can just talk through Facebook. So just every so often he would hit me up like, hey, you know, at one time he started sending me like good morning text, which if you know me, I don't really like good morning text, especially if we're not like seeing each other for real. Like, I'm not that good. I feel like I'm on a list of good morning. Like, if you start with that good morning bullshit and we're not even like really serious, that to me is not cute. Good morning, hey boo, good morning. That doesn't interest me at all. I just feel like I'm like on a roster that you're texting good morning. Yeah, I'm not the only person you're texting good morning, so don't put me on that roster. So, but he kind of had started that a couple of days, and you know, obviously I wasn't like responding to that because I don't pump like that. But that happened. But then again, like I said, we've been just talking. It's, you know, it's 2027 right now, so we've just been a lot of, hey, how you doing, good morning, you know, what you up to, what you doing, you know. And then conversation would stop, conversation would pick up again, you know, in 2022 and, you know, 2024, and now we're 2025 and 2026. So this has just been an ongoing, hey, how you doing type of conversation, and, you know, for a while. So recently he called me through Facebook, which, you know, is a feature through Facebook. You can actually call someone on Facebook if they're I don't even think if they're not your friends, you can call them. As long as you're like connected somehow, you can call somebody through Facebook, which is crazy to me. Because I would never do no shit like that, just call somebody randomly out the blue on Facebook. But he did. And I guess I had time that day and I answered the phone. It wasn't like, he's not a stranger, right? But it's just kind of weird because, you know, I just feel like if I'm going to call somebody out the blue like that, I might text them first, like say, hey, I'm about to call you, or just like do a warm handoff before I just cold call somebody. But I answered the phone. Yeah, we talked for a minute. You know, we were just kind of talking, and another friend that, like I said, he has a friend group from Brockport, and there was another guy that was there with him that I know also, that was kind of just staying with him. And we were, you know, I don't know, we just talked for like about an hour and a half on the phone. Again, just kind of like, you know, shooting the shit as friends. But like I said, I can kind of tell he kind of feeling me out, and honestly, I'm just not at a place right there to, I just want to be his friend. I don't want really anything else than just a friendship, which I am good with being friends with guys. Like I can stay in a guy's friend zone. I don't have to move out of that friend zone, and I can just be friends. And if we go out and you want to talk to other girls, blah blah blah, I'm cool with all that, right? Especially when I really don't have no interest in you, which I don't. I just want to be his friend. So, but he basically was like, oh, okay, so if I'm in, we were just kind of talking like, oh, we were talking about Albany and how far that was from Rochester and blah, blah, blah. And so, we got off the phone or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what all the conversation was, because I don't remember that. It wasn't like memorable like that, but we did have a conversation. So this comedian, I saw his tour dates and I saw, boom, he's going to Albany. And so I'm like, oh, well, my friend that I was talking to, he lives in Albany. I wonder if he would want to go to the show with me. Because I'm not necessarily going to make a special trip to go to Albany to see him, right? But if I'm in Albany because of this comedy show, I wouldn't mind either going with him, just going with him as something to do. Like just something to go and have fun and do together. Not as a date, like a romantic date, but just, hey, I'm going to this show. Do you want to go? It's in Albany, I'm going. Do you want to go? So that's what I did. So I sent him like the screenshot of the date, like of the flyer or whatever that they had on Facebook. And I was like, hey, this comedian that this comedian is pretty popular. I mean, he has his own Netflix special. I think he had like a show, and he's just like all over Facebook right now. He's very, very popular. To me, he's very funny. I feel like he's a very funny comedian. So I sent him like, hey, there's the comedian. He's going to be in Albany this weekend. Do you want to go? Now, mind you, like I said, this dude has been hitting me up since 2019 in my messages. So for me, I'm just like, this is gonna be a no-brainer. He gonna be like, yeah, yes. But that's not the reception that I got. He's like, well, it's all these questions like, well, who is he? And is he funny? And I'm just like, hold up. Pause. Pump the brakes. Hold up. Now, you've been messaging me since 2015. Giving me your number multiple times. I'm reaching out. I'm giving you an olive branch just to hang out. And now, mind you, I don't think that I'm all that. I don't, right? But I'm just like, who gives a fuck who it is? Why you gotta know who he is? I just don't understand. It's not comprehending to me, If you were showing me interest and I'm like saying, hey, there's this comedian, he's gonna be in Albany, do you want to go? I would think a person would say, yeah. And then if you have to do your due diligence to like figure out who he is and whatever, blase, you can do that on the back end. But I just don't get it. So he just was like, I was like, well, yeah, he's funny. He has a Netflix special. I was telling him like, yeah, he's all over Facebook. Like, yeah, check him out, whatever. Let me know, whatever. So that's how I left it, because I just felt like, I extended this invite to you. You've been calling me on Facebook and shit randomly. And this is not the only time he called me on Facebook. That's just the only time I had answered. But he's called me multiple times through Facebook messaging out of the blue. And I'm just like, so I asked you if you want to do something. I'm gonna be in Albany. Even if we don't go to this show. Maybe, and I know it's not money, because I don't know if I can't remember if he has kids. I think he does, but not small kids, right? And he has money. So that's not the issue. I don't think that's it. Listen, people could work all day and still have money issues. And first of all, the tickets are not even that expensive. The tickets are less than $60. So it's not that expensive, in my opinion, anyways. And I'm really doing all the heavy lifting, because I'm the one traveling there. I'm not traveling necessarily for you. I'm traveling because I want to go to the show. So in saying all that, I just was like, all right, cool. So when you get an all right, cool from me, that's not good. I just was like, all right, cool. All right, bet. To me, that's just like, all right, you're done. I'm done. I'm like, don't try to fake like you interested in me or want to like connect. And I'm like giving you an opportunity to do that. And then you got all this, oh, I don't know if I want to, he never said he didn't want to go. But it's like, oh, who is this? What kind of comedian? You have all these, you got 20 questions over something that should be a simple yes, right? So I just left it like that. So he's been like messaging me like, hey, how you doing? I'm thinking to myself like, hi, I'm doing good. What's next? Like, I'm doing good. How are you? I'm doing good. Okay. Like, I'm not gonna try and torture a conversation out of another, hey, how you doing? So anyways, I am going to be going to this show. So the story, I don't even know how to end the story, because it's just like, I feel like for me anyways, if I was interested in a guy, if it was like tables were turned, right? If I'm interested in a guy and I'm putting out feelers for a guy, which I don't normally do anyways, I'm not gonna necessarily do that. But if the tables were turned and I liked a guy or whatever, and they invited me somewhere, I'm gonna say yes. Am I gonna necessarily like need to know who the comedian is? No, I'm not per se necessarily going for the comedian. I'm going just to hang out with you. And for me, my first priority is seeing the comedian, but it was also to, hang out with him too. I hadn't seen him in a long time. He's been messaging me since 2015. I'm not necessarily gonna make a special trip to go to Albany because it is a ways away, but I'm gonna be in your city. Let's chill. Let's hook up. Not hook up, but let's hang out. Let's get some drinks. Let's go out to this show or whatever, and then hang out afterwards or whatever. Let's make it a night, and then you go about your business, I go about mine, but at least we hung out as friends. But it's I don't know, I feel like sometimes I do miss cues. I definitely miss cues for guys that do have admiration for me, but most times it's because I don't really have admiration for them. I'm not looking for I'm not necessarily looking for anyone, but people that do show like genuine interest in me, sometimes that goes like right over my head, because it's just, especially when I'm not interested in them. But I feel like this dude did or does have interest in me, and maybe he got somebody, because listen, he's in Albany. Why, and he's a guy. Most guys are gonna be with somebody and still try to flirt with other women. That definitely happens. So the fact that it could be just the fact that, I'm gonna be there, he may have a girl that he's with and just trying to flirt with me on the side, which it is what it is. I don't really care, because I don't have any allegiance to anybody. That's on you. If you want to flirt with somebody, that's you and your relationship. That has nothing to necessarily do with me. But like I said before, that girl don't got nothing to worry about, because I don't like him like that. I do like him as a friend, but I don't like him as anything more than that. And shit, she could come. Invite her too. We can make it a night. I didn't necessarily want to go by myself, but like I said, I'm in an era of my life right now where I'm not gonna put I'm not putting anything on hold. If I can go with somebody, I will. If I don't, I don't need to. I still enjoy, I like going to places on my own. I don't mind being by myself. I enjoy myself. I can make myself laugh. I have a good time on my own. But obviously, if I could find someone to go with, I would definitely do that, right? Because I don't necessarily want to drive 3 hours by myself. But I will, because like I said, I'm in an era of my life right now where I'm not putting anything on hold just because I don't have somebody to do it with. And honestly, if I really, really wanted to, I could invite my friend, but I don't want, like I said, he works and stuff like that, so I don't necessarily want to inconvenience him. And honestly, it wouldn't be an inconvenience. He would probably go, and maybe he wouldn't go because like I said, he works at night, so it's not really. Now, if it was in the daytime, or if he worked in the daytime, he definitely would have no problem going with me. But like I said, he is unavailable, in my opinion. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm going this weekend, and I'm going to have a good time. And I'm going to have some video of that later on. Maybe make a video or something like that. I don't know. I've actually had pictures taken with him, and he signed some shirts of mine, and, I don't know. I'm not in the row, and that's another thing. Like, I kind of waited for him to tell me like if he wanted to go, so I didn't get the VIP tickets that I wanted, but I'm still gonna go early enough to be seated like in the front. So, and to me, he is so funny. Like I said, I don't care where he's at. I mean, I'm not gonna drive like 5 hours to see him. but I did go to Ohio to see him. But if he's like in the vicinity, he's a comedian that I definitely would go and see multiple times again. I just feel like his show is really funny. It's always different because he's one of those comedians that is interacting with the audience. So the show is going to be different every time. And, I'm just going to make it, it's going to be a good weekend for me this week. So that's my story. Now, what do you guys think? Maybe he just don't like, not that he has to even like me. I don't want him to like me, to be honest with you, because I don't like him like that anyways. But what do you think? I'm an overthinker. That's one thing. I am definitely an overthinker. So this whole thing just has me thinking like, listen, the next time you hit me up with, hey, how you doing? Let's hang out. I'm gonna be like, no. I'm gonna just dead it like, no, dude. I was in Albany, I was in Albany, May such and such. Your ass was acting funny. No, let's stop with the bullshit. Let's stop with the, hey, how you doing? I'm just gonna dead that shit right there. Like, you can still say hi and we can still shoot the shit, but I don't want to hear about let's hang out and blah blah blah, because that's fake, and I hate fakeness. So listen, that's the story. Tell me what you think. Am I overthinking? I'm definitely overthinking it. But what do you think? If someone asks you to hang out, wouldn't you hang out? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I still have the week. Listen, he might just show up. Who knows? I got my ticket. I'm going. And that's that. So, I don't know. I have more stories to tell, like I said. Some funny, some just shooting the shit. Just some stories I just want to get off my chest. So stay tuned for the next Car Chronicle. Alrighty. See you later.